Once a year, tens of thousands of golf fans flock to TPC Scottsdale for a tournament known as the greatest show on turf. The Waste Management Open is a spectacle, all right. All the time and money and effort involved. What's easy to forget is the event's most vital input. The greatest show on turf takes place on, well, turf, which depends on one thing more than any other. None of this happens without water. Scottsdale's a desert, so it's fair to ask, where do they get all that H2O? In summertime in Scottsdale, a golf course can use up to 2 million gallons of water a day. Most use less, but the city has a lot of courses, which adds up to a lot of water. Some critics see this as a waste, and that's a good word, just not in the way that you might think. Waste is in wastewater. That's what goes to Scottsdale's courses, from sinks and dishwashers, showers and sprinklers, a small percentage of toilet water too. How does water get from, say, a kitchen sink to the sprinkler heads at TPC Scottsdale? First, it's pumped to this state-of-the-art facility where it goes through a conventional process to strip it of solids and other nasty stuff. What's really unusual is what happens next, a high-level purification process that few other public facilities in the country carry out. It starts with membrane filtration, using high pressure to force water through tiny holes, which takes out minuscule particles.
These are the feed pumps that actually feed the water up into the microfiltration units. We only run what we need, so there's 11 of them there, right? And we run as far as capacity. So if we're running at 20, they run it sequence to where one will be on, that goes into a wash cycle while another one kicks on. And it's about every 30 minutes they'll go into a wash cycle where it's an air scour. They use different chemicals to clean the membrane, and then the water passes through the system and we head off to the next one.
Then it's on to reverse osmosis.
As it comes over here, it gets treated, it enters these vessels up front, these little cartridge filters. This is what a cutaway of a taro unit looks like. So it looks kind of like a paper towel that the filters are, these membranes are a bunch of what looks like paper towels. They're rolled very tightly. These are high pressure units, so they're rated for around 300 PSI. They run at about 120, 150. And so we're pushing water through it. The osmosis process happens. And these are actually 3-stage. So we have each one of these banks, see how they're in blocks here? Each one of those is rated for 1 million gallons a day. That process right there is 3-stage. So it goes through. Every time we get the reject, the stuff that we don't want in here, it goes through again and again. That 3-stage has an 85% capture rate. 85% is very efficient. If you look at a home unit that would be under somebody's sink or an RO unit in their home or garage, they're generally getting about a gallon of useful RO per 3, 4, or even 5 gallons that they waste.
This is ultraviolet light. So as that water comes through, the last step of treatment on this system before it goes to the bulk of RWDS is ultraviolet. So photolysis. We're actually hitting, in this vessel, we have UV bulbs, super high intensity. They cross the path of the water. Water comes through and we measure what's called transmittance, so the strength of that wave. This is dependent on water being very clear, because if the water's not clear, the wavelengths don't get through it like it should. So the water coming through RO is going through here and we're destroying or deactivating through sterilization anything that may be in this. Keep in mind, as it goes through the RO process, I get asked this, microplastics, they're gone at this point. Pharmaceuticals, gone. Those don't make it through the RO process. It's a very, very, very tight membrane. So coming through here, then we enter and we go out to the blends where we start. We treat it again with for pH, because the water coming through, we need to balance it a little bit. So we'll add hydrated lime powder to the mix to try to get the pH right where we need it. And then it heads up to the system.
That actually tastes pretty good. It does.
The city pumps this water to 20 courses in North Scottsdale through a public-private partnership called the Reclaimed Water Distribution System. It's an investment in their own survival.
They invested in the infrastructure to bring water to them. They also invested in the treatment facility here to ensure they could get the water quality they wanted.
We have the raw Central Arizona Colorado River water. We have raw wastewater effluent, and then we have advanced purified water. And so those are the three blend sources. We blend them, we send them forward. That's how we're balancing sodium. That's how we're balancing our feed, everything like that.
On any given day, 20 million gallons of water is ready and available for the courses, but they only take what they need. In wet or wintry periods, when courses need little to no water, the extra gets pumped back into the city's aquifers. The water partnership with the city is crucial for golf, but golf is also crucial to the city, providing jobs, attracting tourists, generating tax revenue. The game is an economic engine, and it has gone a long way towards using less water to make it run.
Everybody's very jaded. They think, look at all that water they're using. It's like, oh, well, yeah, but they're being responsible about it. You know, they're using reclaim. They're not using drinking water. I think there's a misconception. They think they're using drinking water. That cap water with the shortages and the reductions, like, we need to be mindful of where that water goes.
And when you say cap, you mean Colorado River?
Yeah, Colorado River water. So we want it to go there, treat it, and then put into the distribution system so people are getting into that tap.
The sophisticated science doesn't stop at the plant. The courses have to calibrate how the blend works best, where and when to use it, and how much.
We partner with, experts in the field, like irrigation consultants. So we're obviously always looking at like something called DU, which is distribution uniformity, which tells us how good our system is or how efficient our system is. And, that way that, we can see, yeah, we're irrigating, but are we using the water that we have the most efficient way possible? City of Scottsdale is a great partner with everybody that's on their line. We look at, there's certain parameters that have to be met for that water to come to us. And so that has been a balancing act over the last, 10 years for everybody to become partners and kind of make that system work. Yeah, 100% of the water that goes on the golf course comes from those folks at the water campus. The only outlier is any rainfall events that we have, which are very few and far between out here, go into our lake system. So both of these golf courses were designed, we call it like a closed loop system. So any of the rainwater that goes into our drainage is captured and goes into our lakes to be reused. For us, and this part of Scottsdale, like being able to use the reclaimed water for something productive is really kind of a feather in the city of Scottsdale's cap at being able to put that facility into place and the delivery system and how it's run, top to bottom is world class. And I think you've had the chance to kind of see that.
In the coming years, the city's goal is to move to 100% reclaimed water and not pull a drop from the Colorado River. It is, after all, a precious resource, too scarce to waste.